How is everyone today? Happy Friday. I'm so excited to see you all. And I'm so excited that you're here because we have a very special guest on the show today. And this is Amanda Richardson with Where in the Park. You're going to hear all about it, all about her business, how she has gone from dreaming about this idea of starting a business to now being in business for 3 years. Her life is flourishing. Her business is doing so well, and she's getting to make money doing what she loves. And you know what? I want that for you too. And I'm just so happy that y'all are here. So you're going to have to give me a warm welcome for Mrs. Amanda Richardson. Amanda is here today. Welcome, Amanda, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is such a dream come true because you and I have been working together for years now, and to be part of your show, one, and two, to know just how far we've come. Like, this is amazing. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm
Yeah, I'm
so excited to
so
chat with you about it
glad.
today.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so before we kick things off, I'm going to push play on my phone just to make sure the audio is right because the last time we did this live, we had this weird echo. It wasn't with you, it was another one of my guests, and it was something on my end. And so I'm just going to make sure really quick and do a sound check, and then we will kick things off. Okay, let me see. My audio sounds good. Let me see. I think we're good. I think Yes. Okay. Think we're good. Sorry, everyone. We just had to do that because I didn't want it to happen like it happened last time, where 10 minutes into it, people are like, this sounds weird. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's been doing this for 10 or 12 minutes or whatever it was. So, anyways, I'm so happy you're here because I think your story is so fascinating, Amanda. And for everyone out there who's watching right now who has a product business, this is so important what she's going to share with you today. She's going to be real about this. We kind of talked about a little stuff before we went live, and I'm like, you know what? I think this is what people are going to appreciate the most because I think a lot of the stuff that we hear as business owners is that everyone has a bazillion-dollar business. They're on the beach with their laptop, and sales are just coming in, and we're having 50K months, and it's just all these things that when you start a business, that seems very far off and frankly unrelatable because you're like, I am spending a lot of hours trying to get this business together. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be real about Amanda's journey so you can understand what she's been through and what's gotten her to where she is today. And I can relate as well because I used to have a product-based business before. And if y'all are new to me, any of you are new here, for about 19 years I ran my own businesses that were product businesses, okay? And for about 16 of those I had them as online boutiques. So I get the online space. Excuse me. And I started my first online business in 2003 when Amazon was known for books. So I've seen the whole evolution of online business and marketing, and Amanda can speak to that. She started 3 years ago, and I'm sure she'll say that things have evolved and it changed that much as well. I mean, it's just crazy. I feel like everything's changing at lightning speed. So without further ado, Miss Amanda, why don't you share with us what prompted you to start your business? And I know we have some people here. Hello to Kimberly, who just said hello in the chat. So, share with us like what prompted you to start your business, and then how did you actually start your product business? Like what method, so people can understand if they've got a product in mind and they envision something that they want to sell, like what does this really look like to take that idea or that little inkling in your soul and turn it into an actual new business?
Yeah. So it started with a love of scavenger hunts, first off, and our love of theme parks, particularly Disneyland. And so we are still a part of a Facebook group called Mouse for Life, and they put on an annual scavenger hunt at Disneyland where we were to find images that were just kind of obscure details of the Disneyland resort. And you had about 100 images, black and white, really close up, and it could be anywhere in the park, anywhere in the entire resort. And we had 100 pictures, 8 hours, have fun. And so my husband Kevin and my mom Kim in the chat. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we were part of the winning team of that scavenger hunt. They put it on for 8 years, and we won 6 out of the 8 and 5 years in a row. So we are 5-time reigning champs, as I like to say. And we got really good at it because we took pictures around the park. And we would test each other throughout the year of, hey, pop quiz, where in the park is this? Hey, where in the park is this? And then COVID hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it shut everything down. And we had that itch of like, but I need to get to the parks. Like, what's going on? And the event organizer was unable to put together the scavenger hunts in the same way because large groups couldn't get together. The reservation system changed at the parks. And so we wanted to give people a way to experience the details of the parks on their own terms, right? So you don't have to get this big group together, and be able to experience the joy that we felt when we discovered a detail for the first time. And how, when you go back to the parks, you have that appreciation for that detail that you didn't know was there before. And now you know and can recognize it every time you walk past it. So we love that about the parks. And we wanted to provide that feeling and experience to others. And so we're like, how do we do that? And so we took that same concept of having kind of obscure details of the theme parks, and we created something out of that. And so at first, it started off with very practical things, like we made a necklace like this one, where
Mm.
it has
That
an
is
image. It's a
so
height
cute.
indicator.
Wait, so y'all would make those and sell
Yeah,
those? Y'all were
yeah.
selling those
So
in the beginning.
yeah, so we made things like this. So we printed out the backer that it was on and made the whole thing. So this is actually found somewhere in the park. We made other things like bookmarks with details of things found around the parks, and hair bows, among other things. So, with all of these things, you would get a card with it that you would then, say you were wearing this hair bow, and then you would take the card with you to the park to figure out where in the park this pattern or detail would be. And so that was kind of where in the park started. And so we went to a vendor event up in Northern California. Had no idea what we were doing, but we put some things together, created a display, and learned really quickly that that's great, but if people don't know where in the park something is, why do they want a bow about it? You know? And so we had thought, because the Disney community in particular, they're really big on mystery pins. So like,
Mm.
you know, there's boxes that are sold at the gift shops that are, hey, here's a theme of pin. You don't know what it is. Give us $15.
Mm.
And then it's the thrill of opening it. And so we kind of had that in mind, but it didn't translate well. And we were getting feedback of, okay, that's great, but I just want the card.
Mm.
I just want to go around the park. It's like, okay, the card is the game, not the bow, which was
Mm.
great news for us because it took a long time to make those bows.
I had no
So
idea that you had all that before the scavenger hunt backs. Like I don't even
yeah,
think I realized that.
yeah. So our very first show was mostly those things. We had coasters and all kinds of fun things that we were making,
Yeah.
but then people didn't really care. They just really wanted the card
Right.
to go play in the park. So that turned into our game packs. So we pivoted from that to our fun packs, our fun size packs, and we had 3 different versions because we're like, yeah, this is going to be a blast. You have 8 images, and then you can find another 8 and another 8, and then we would have the challenge pack that had 30 images. So if you wanted to just test it out or go for like the ultimate challenge or whatever, so we had
Right.
like different levels. And we were working on our messaging with the help of you.
Yeah.
So we were really honing in on our messaging. We were feeling really good about it. We even created, because of feedback we got from a customer, that they wanted a competition set. So we created little competition sets where you got two of the same set of images and you would go around in separate teams, and do it that way. And then we sat back and went, okay, we need to work on our messaging. It's not really resonating. And
And
it's
just
we're
to
getting
not to
yeah,
interrupt, sort of to interrupt, just for anyone listening who doesn't know what messaging means, because if you're not in my programs, you may or may not know. I have no idea, but it is basically the words that you use to share the value of what you offer, to communicate everything about what you're selling. And those words either attract or repel your right people. Okay. So if you're using words that make sense to them and that connect with them, then you attract them. And so that's what Amanda is saying. She's saying that as they're working on these iterations of their physical product. So if you've got some type of physical product right now, you may know it's probably gone through some changes and evolutions, that the words you say about it, that you actually speak and that you write on the packaging and all of that, have a lot to do with whether this is going to be appealing to people or not. So that's what Amanda's talking about. And she's talking about the different iterations of her product. So you have the black and white ones that you just showed, and you had the different packs. And then you started realizing what at this time?
yeah. So we were realizing, okay, our name is Where in the Park. And our packaging says that it's a fun size pack, like a candy bar, or a challenge pack. But Where in the Park games, it's right there. Like, so why are we, and we're like we're shooting ourselves in the foot by saying, okay, you can get, these three versions, but all of these are in the bigger pack. So if you bought one of these, why would I get the bigger pack? you know so we realized of like, took a look at our numbers, evaluated what was going on, and said we got to make some changes. And so we changed the names, of our packaging. So the bigger packs are now called Where in the Park games. And then we went from the fun size packs to a mini game. And these are completely different images from the bigger Where in the Park games.
So
So
now they're
not only,
color. So they're color
yeah,
now. You've changed the wording on the front. So for everyone listening with
yes,
your products, she's enhancing them with every iteration, right? Adding the color,
yeah,
adding Where in the Park games, so people know that they're games, and they're the fun size, I guess, was confusing to people, which I can understand now because of the candy bars that are known as fun size.
yeah.
So okay, makes total sense. So now you've got the newer colored ones that you're showing there with the new naming. And how does that feel to
Mhm.
y'all? Does that feel much more aligned with what you're
Yeah.
trying to offer people?
Yeah. And just to be clear, this is the color of this particular park. So every park is a
Okay.
different color.
Perfect. Oh, okay. Okay,
But
got it.
yeah, they're all in color.
Okay.
But no, it's crazy when you stop and think about, okay, what are the words that I'm using and how does it flow when I say it? What am I getting tripped up on? And so I personally was getting tripped up on, okay, is it fun size pack or fun pack, or like, it I was confusing myself, which obviously doesn't convey confidence that I know what I'm talking about when I'm speaking to people. And then our messaging online was also very confusing. And so we got a lot of questions back of, okay, wait, what? So we sat back and went, okay, how can we streamline this for us, but also make it more clear to the end consumer of what this is really quickly, because we are kind of, in we have to educate people of what this is. This doesn't exist before, like anywhere else before. So we the faster we can educate, the more we can then talk about why it's entertaining. And so I love a quote that Walt Disney has. He says, I would rather entertain and hope that people learn something than educate people and hope that they were entertained. And I think that our games provide a means of entertainment, but like with before they play, we have to educate them. So the faster you do that, the more fun you can have in entertaining, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
So,
Yeah.
um, so really honing in on getting clear of what our values are and where we want to stand out, and then tweaking the product to match that and being in alignment with that.
I love that.
Um,
I love that. So when you first started selling, were you selling on, did you tell me Etsy was your first
mhm,
place that you started?
yeah.
So for everyone listening, if you've got a product business, Etsy is it's the greatest place to just start with the low risk because you don't have to get up a whole website. You can do it quickly. You do have to pay fees. Well, what did you like about selling on Etsy in the beginning?
We actually still have our Etsy shop.
Perfect.
Um,
Okay.
we Selling on Etsy is great because, like you said, it is low risk. The great thing is that you can put up a listing for one of your products, and it it allows you to work on your messaging and edit as you go. So, like you're not penalized for making any changes or adding pictures or anything like that. So you can really kind of work on things in the background while Etsy is driving traffic to your shop.
Yeah, that's great.
Versus starting on a website where you have to figure out all of these things. Um, you can get just even just one picture up. What is your product? One picture, slap some wording in there, and then from that 10,000-foot view, now you can start to fine tune inward and not feel pressured of like, oh, crap, I just need to get something up, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So, yeah, having Etsy has been, um, it's interesting with their algorithms, but, we still get sales all the time from
That's great.
Etsy.
Do you feel
So
like you have to do ads? Do you have to do ads to get exposure on Etsy? No, you felt like that.
an ad.
Okay.
It is, all about the SEO and the words that you use, which is what we talk about all the time with messaging. So finding those key words to describe and really think about, okay, if I were looking for this product, what would I type in, like, say, Google search? What
Right.
would you type into the Google search bar to find that? That is what your SEO should be,
Okay.
um, in a nutshell. So, and then you repeat that everywhere in your messaging. Um, and then, so yeah, I ask every customer who orders online from us, how did you find us? Right?
Mm,
Whether, like we're on Etsy, but we also have our website. And so we're in both places online, and so I always ask, "Where did you find us? How did you hear about us?" And quite a few people say, "Oh, I just did a search on Etsy for
interesting.
Disney Fun,"
Yeah.
or,
So,
something like that. So, um, always ask your customers,
yeah, that's a
where did
great tip.
they hear about you?
Yeah, I love that. I don't think anyone should ever underestimate Etsy because I was talking to a new business owner the other day and she was like, I feel weird. Is that okay? I start on Etsy? I'm like, heck yes, start on Etsy. I think that's amazing. You get everything going. You also not only learn how to just like get the front end of your business up, the forward facing to the customers, you also start working through the kinks on the back end and all the logistics of like how to process an order, how to ship an order, how to contact customers, all the stuff, customer service. So you get both ends of it with Etsy without outlaying so much money and time to create your own website. But at some point, you felt like it was the time to go ahead and create your own website. You had your URL, Where in the Park. And so I think you said, did your husband build the website for y'all? And so you'll have it. You'll have both. You have the Etsy store and a website.
Yes, because the one thing with one of the one things with Etsy is that you can't put your own personality on your page. So your brand colors or anything like that. And so we wanted a space to be able to put who we are, put images, put,
Mm-hmm.
if we happen to be at an event or anything like that. We have a place to house all of that information. And so when people ask, like, where can I find you? We direct them to our website. And then Etsy is just in the background bringing people in from there.
That's
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah. So,
And you do vendor shows as well at local markets and events. So tell us about that for anyone here that has a product business that has been thinking about doing shows, or maybe you've just started. What kind of tips do you have for those who want to kind of jump into that whole new arena of selling at local events and shows?
yes. Yes. So it can be very overwhelming very quickly. So, first,
Yeah.
take a deep breath, right? One big tip that we've learned kind of the hard way is that really know the venue and if your niche aligns with that group. Because we did a number of shows that had nothing to do with Disney or theme parks or anything like that. It was more of like an arts and crafts kind of an event, and we had a couple of sales, but a lot of times we didn't make our booth fee back. And had we done a little bit more digging into who actually attends those events, we might be like, no. So my big tip is if you were considering going to a particular live show, go to that live show as a guest first
Hmm.
and take a look around, look at the
Yeah.
setup,
Write that
look
down.
at who's there, kind of get a feel of the vibe, and also take a look at other booths. You're not comparing yourself to anybody, but you're just getting ideas. And so
Mm-hmm.
we did that in the beginning too, of like, ooh, I like how this particular display is. And then you can ask questions. Where did you get that? Also, too, while you're at that event as a guest, talk to the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
How is it like? Is it usually this busy or this slow?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Note different things of like, okay, it's outdoors. I'm going to need weights for things. All of these little things that you are thinking about before you even commit to going or not.
Yeah.
That pressure off of you and just kind of observe,
Yeah, I think
ask
that's
questions.
super smart to scope it out. And I love that. I love that you were saying asking the other vendors about like where did
Mm,
they get their displays? How did they come up with this? I think a lot of people get embarrassed. A lot of small business owners, they get embarrassed when they're there and they're like, oh, I'll look like I'm new. I don't know what to. No, I think you've got to pool your resources. You've got to ask everyone. You've got to get help, and getting the scoop on those shows or events like holiday, because for people there's going to be holiday markets and stuff coming up now. If you know they're a busy show and well trafficked, then I think it's awesome and you want to be there. But if it's a new show you've never been, you need to either go or you need to scope it out and find out like how busy actually is the show. Because what can happen is you go, you travel there, you bring all your stuff, you schlep everything, you get the dog sitter or the babysitter or whatever, and you have all your stuff out and you don't get the sales or the traffic that you wanted, and you end up losing money for the weekend. And so that's very disheartening. So I think doing your homework is great advice. And I love that, Amanda. I think that's awesome. So do y'all just
yeah.
stick with the same shows that are doing good? Do you just tend to just frequent those?
For the most part now, yes. So like I said, like last year, we did a lot of the arts and crafts types of shows, and sitting back,
Yeah.
we lost a lot of money on that because it just wasn't profitable.
Right.
Um, we got some leads, but it didn't turn into to profits or sales. So
Right.
the ones that we are showing up regularly to are the ones that are specific to our niche. So they are Disney or Disneyana specific, or something along those lines where they're close to a theme park that is bringing in some sort of theme park element to it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so, and then also another tip is to see how the vendor organizers are promoting the event because
That's a good
sometimes
point.
they don't. And it's really interesting of like, okay, if they are going all out and they have ads out or they are going on the social medias and promoting everything like crazy. If they are saying, "Hey, this talent is going to be there," those are the things are that you want to kind of jump on and maybe throw that as a possibility. If they are completely silent or they don't have a lot of followers, that might be a red flag of like, okay, you're going to have to do a lot of promoting on your end to try and drum up excitement. And if you're the only one, who else is coming in,
Yeah,
from the other
that's
vendors?
so
So
true. I didn't think about that. Like, if they're not promoting it everywhere, then how much foot traffic are you actually going to get? So, I think these are all great things to scope out before you commit to doing some kind of upcoming holiday market, vendor show, anything like that. And ask, I mean, I used to always ask the fellow vendors, like, what do you think of this? What was your busiest day? Was it Saturday or Sunday? Was it at the night? Because I think the other downfall too is that we overestimate how much we're going to sell at a show. I mean, that's what happened to us. And we would bring so much stuff and then we would sell a lot, but then we're still going home with a whole bunch of stuff and was like, oh my gosh, we still didn't sell. So I think you have to watch out too how much inventory you actually bring to the shows. For you, it may not be like that. We had all kinds of big bulky gifts and stuff like that, and you have your cards, which seem a lot more efficient for packing for a show, which is nice. So you do the vendor shows, and then I know recently you had taken on other ways of trying to market and also sell your stuff. So this is what I thought was key for everyone watching today, is to hear the other creative ways that Amanda and her team have really reached out beyond just having a website, Etsy store, and doing vendor shows. Like said, what can we do more to bring in income and to bring in sales? There's got to be other avenues, if you want to call them revenue streams, just different ways that you can sell your stuff. So Amanda, would you share with everyone kind of how y'all approached reaching beyond just the website and the vendor shows?
yes. So the thing to keep in mind is that you're not alone in shouting your product from the rooftops. Okay? You are passionate about your product, 1,000,000%, but other people are as well. And so collaborating with others is so key. So within your world, whatever it is that you sell, find people who are fans of your product. It could be existing customers, right? It could be friends and family. It could be influencers, right? Partner with them, and like we created an affiliate group. So we have
Mm.
affiliates who are friends and family, but they're also podcasters. They are social media influencers. We have the whole spectrum, and some have small followings, others have tens of thousands of followers, and so with the affiliate program, we are we provide 10% of our sales that they bring in commissions. But we also, when we launched the latest iteration of our game pack, we provided those to our affiliates. So we're giving the product away so that way they can use it in their social media or however they reach their audience.
Right.
So right now there's a podcast friend of ours who is doing a giveaway because they reached a certain number of downloads, and so their giveaway are our game packs.
How fun
Um,
is that? That's so cute. I love that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
So
that.
it's
That's
reaching
awesome.
yeah, it's reaching their audiences who go to theme parks in this case, and it's a way for them to promote and do all that, but then they also get rewarded through monetary compensation through any sales that get brought in. Some of those affiliates are also travel agents. So we've partnered with travel agents who
Mm.
can take our mini games and give them to their clients as a thank you gift for booking with them. And so we create everything in house. And so we are able to put their logo, complimentary game pack provided by, and then their logo. So we have partnered with several travel agencies around the world to provide the game packs to them. And then some of those agents are also affiliates. So
This is
It
amazing. I love this niche for y'all. And I remember a
Yeah.
while back when you had mentioned that y'all were going to be reaching out to agents. Thought this is amazing because you're selling in bulk. Then they're with the people that would be most interested in
Mhm.
what you're offering. And I think everyone has to think about that. Like, where are your people at that point where they would buy or most interested? Where are they? And her creative brain helped her realize, oh my gosh, these travel agents are actually marketing to our exact people who are going to Disney and these other parks. And so I thought it was genius and I loved it. And I think that that's been a really cool niche for you. So do you consider that sort of your bulk part of your bulk sales strategy, or versus just like consumers, selling one off on Etsy or whatever? It's kind of part of this more bulk sales avenue.
Yeah. So working with the travel agents is definitely our bulk order method. We also have partnered with a smaller theme park called Enchanted Forest that's up in Oregon, and
Mm,
we make game packs exclusively for them to sell.
mm,
So it's not available on our website. You can't find them when we're at vendor shows. It is just for them to sell at their theme park and on their website. So it is an income stream for them. So we provide it to them in bulk, and then
that's
they
amazing.
provide it. So we have received a lot of feedback from guests at the parks to that they want more. Like we provided packs A and B. We have 2 game packs out there, and they're like, "Where's the third? Like, what's going on? We want more. We want more." So
Oh, that's awesome.
um, it's been fantastic. And then another way too is through podcasts.
Mm,
So we have been on a number of podcasts. We've met people at these vendor events that are saying like, "Hey, I'm promoting my podcast. Listen in." And so we've met a lot of podcast friends that way. And so we've been guests on their shows. And then we are also sponsors on one of those shows and regulars, and even co-hosts on the show. So finding those areas where you can get plugged into your community. Um, Join Facebook groups and make friends with the people who run the Facebook group. A lot of Facebook groups say no promoting. That's different from reaching out to the organizer and saying, "Hey, let's
mm,
be friends."
mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's so true.
so, that's there's a lot of different avenues that, just you need to be a person. You need to be a human. You need to interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
And just you're not salesy. You are being a human and you are connecting. And so that was one of the first things, that mental roadblock of I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk. I just want to chat. Like
Yeah.
let's just talk.
Yeah.
And hey, by the way, I happen to have a game that you're gonna love.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been so much fun. It really has, and that's the beauty of it. So, like, if you are thinking about selling anything, product, service, otherwise, like, just just do it because you're gonna have so much fun. You're gonna learn a lot about yourself. You're gonna learn a lot about the business world, but you're gonna make so many amazing connections that it's gonna open up so many doors for you. So
That's so
just
true. I love that. I love that. Well, you've always been so enthusiastic about your business, and it's just such a fun business. Oh my goodness. I love it. And I wanted to ask you too, which I thought was really interesting because you had talked about before not being afraid to pivot when things
mm,
need to be adjusted in your business. And I know you had some good advice for people and words that you live by in regards to pivoting, adjusting, tweaking things, recentering your focus, whatever you want to call it. And I'd love for you to share that with all my watchers and listeners today, because I think it's so important as business owners that we are open to pivoting and making changes. So,
so true. As you've seen, I have a lot of iterations of our game, right? And with that, please remember pivot and pivoting does not mean failure. It does not mean failure. Pivoting means I have an acronym for it, right? So the P is perseverance. You're staying committed, you're resilient, and you're facing some setbacks. Something's not sitting right with this, but it's okay. We're going to persevere. The I is for introspection, regularly reflecting on your goals and your strengths and areas for improvement. V is for versatility, being versatile and adapt to change and new challenges. O is ownership, taking ownership of the decisions that you've made in the past and where you're going moving forward. And then T is for transformation, embracing the transformation and continuous personal growth. And it is amazing when you put that shift in your mindset into play that, it's like when my husband said, like, we need to change the challenge packs to wear in the park games, for a minute, I, like, had a mental breakdown because I was like, "What?" To change, like, literally everything on our website and our Etsy and our packaging and our messaging and everything, but then I was like, "Alright, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. Let's pivot, let's
Let's
do
do
it."
it. Yeah.
And now it's like, why didn't we think of this years ago? Like, we should have
Like we
started
should
with
have done it sooner. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, what would be examples of things that y'all have pivoted that
Mhm.
might be just so people can understand when we say pivot, like, what are we talking about? And so for you, it was the naming on the packs, like changing the name on the actual packs, what they're called. So that's one example. Was there any other examples as well of things that y'all have had to pivot or do or move away from, move toward?
Yeah. So, one is the actual cards themselves. So before the I have an example. So we have like one of the images here, where the hint and the answer on the other side would be like covered by a scratch off sticker, right? And so you would, if you wanted to, you could scratch that off and reveal the hint and the answer. But now we have pivoted to having it be a QR code instead.
Oh,
So that was a big change on the back end because, like I said, we create everything in house. So every file of the cards had to be changed.
mm.
That was a big pivot. It's something that
Oh,
we're
yeah, yeah.
working on right now. So we have 18 theme parks, 38 images each, at least. Some have 68 images. That's a lot of files to change over from the scratchers to the QR codes. But in doing so, we save money. So the cost per item goes down. It saves time because we don't
Mm.
have to manually put these stickers on,
Right.
and it makes the game more dynamic. So we are able to add to the website, which is what the QR code would take you to, a page on our website. So we can add things to it. So we can now add the land that the image is in, and make it more fun, add some different things. So that also has allowed us to create digital games.
Okay.
Now that we have the ability to have those QR codes, we can now create a digital version of our game, because the back end has been established. So all of these little things, at first I was like, but what? But just it's okay. It's gonna
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah.
And even if this doesn't work out and we pivot to something else, we have learned so much from this experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
It's
as
such a
we
good
always say,
attitude.
everything is experiment.
Yeah,
Yep.
everything is an experiment, and it's such a good attitude to have. And I love your acronym that you shared. So you pivoted the names, you pivoted you
Mhm.
had to change all that. I was thinking too, just reflecting back on ways that I pivoted when I had a product, a business. When I started, we sold home accessories and gifts, and then the market started calling for more personalized and monogram stuff. This was years ago when it was so hot for so long, especially here in the South in Texas. And so we pivoted, and basically my whole website was personalized gifts. So I think there's shifts that you have to make, and whether you call it a pivot, a shift, a redirect, whatever you want to call it, but it's really analyzing what you're doing, because everything's an experiment. Analyzing what you're doing, looking at the numbers, looking at how you feel. Is it working? Is it bringing clients to say, how do I need to change things to better this and to do it? So however you're starting right now, you may be making something as well, right? With your hands, it's something that you made. But after you have people test it, after you have people sell it, I mean, after you sell it and people have actually used it and given you feedback, you're going to start realizing things that you need to change. And it will be hard at first. Like Amanda said, like it took her a minute when her husband was like, I think we need to change the name of this, that you just really sit back and go, for the bigger picture, for the long term, you have to make big decisions sometimes on what you're doing and everything that you're doing for your business, even in a service business, right? Because you can make so many choices if you offer a service, whether you do something online, whether you're doing something in person, whether you offer a digital download, whether you offer a course or a group program or, you know, one-on-one coaching or whatever it may be. So every business has to shift and has to pivot, and you pivot for your own well-being and your business well-being, but also to fit market conditions. And that's the big one too, is that our market is changing so rapidly that you have to be able to shift those things. So I love that you shared that, Amanda. I think those are all so pertinent. So where are you today? Tell us about where in the park today, and like kind of like this comparison from where you started. You started on Etsy and doing vendor shows, and now where you are today and what you're doing and what your focus is, just so people get an idea of in 3 years what literally is realistic and what could be happening for you.
Yeah. So we started with physical items of hair bows and necklaces and coasters, and we are now working on digital games. Like it's like the whole spectrum. And we are now at the point to where we are looking to kind of outsource our card production,
Mm,
which is amazing. And so we are ready to take our games to like the next level and not print at home,
right.
which is what we're doing right now, printing at home. And by working with a local company, having better quality products, having a more consistent product, and being able to free up that time to work on other things. So we're hoping to start the podcast really soon. We're hoping to ramp up our social media and our email, which we have an email list
Yeah,
thanks to you,
that's
um,
great. I love
because
it.
Oh, I pushed really hard on not having an email list for the longest time, and you were so patient with me on that. And now we have over 400 people on our email list, and it's just
That's
amazing.
great.
So, and that's all about inviting people in, and having, if you have a vendor booth, always look for ways to invite people into your world. So whether that be join me on social media, uh, just getting, signing up for our email list, something, invite them to take that next step with you, is so, so, so important. But so is the follow up in that. And so when you're looking at the flow, the customer flow of like where do they buy and what do you do along the way? Um, Look for the touch points. Where can I interact with them? And I know I'm like going off of what your question was, but I think it's super important to keep that in mind. Of
Right.
just because you have that initial conversation in person, for example, that is not the end of your relationship with them.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so always look for those ways of how can I continue this conversation? Is that on social media? Is that through your email list? What is it for you? In that's for you to decide what is comfortable for you. Um, for me, it we're in the park. One of the biggest things we value is customer service, and um, so we want to know how your gameplay was. We want to know about your trip, and yeah, we have the prize wheel that we have on our at our booth if there's space for it. Right, not everybody has space for the
Oh
table
yeah, yeah,
limit.
yeah.
But yeah, we have a prize wheel. And so if they, we've also had raffle drawings too.
I love
Um,
that.
And so to be able to spin the wheel or to be able to get a raffle ticket, they are encouraged to sign up for the email list or follow us on social, whatever they're comfortable with. And that has worked really well for us.
Yeah,
So,
that's amazing. That's such a good idea at the booth to make it fun. So not just the
yeah.
products there, but these fun things like the prize wheel and all that. I think that that's amazing. Just other ways that, like you said, like you're inviting people to a next step. They're taking a step closer. They're getting on that email list. And to your point, a lot of people are scared and have an aversion to starting an email list. So many small business owners are like, I'm going to be annoying. Do people actually read email? It's just another, another tool in your arsenal, right? It's another
Mhm.
tool that reaches people. Some people you're going to reach them on social media. Some people you're going to reach them on email. Some you're going to reach at the vendor shows, the vendor markets. They may never, want to shop online and they want, just to buy in person. But I think a lot of people now kind of know there's these multi-touch systems in place with businesses, and there's many ways that they can interact with you and you can interact with them. And so I love that y'all are creative about all of this stuff with the vendor shows and all that. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. And one other thing about the vendor shows, whether you are a guest or whether you are a vendor yourself, take a moment, some point before, during, or after the event, and network with other vendors.
Mm. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So when there's times where we don't have time for it based off of the craziness of the day, but whenever you can, talk to your neighbor at the very least. Um, but also find ways that you can partner with other people. Can you create a gift basket with you and somebody else? Um, just networking in some way, follow them on social, and they'll probably follow you back if you have that conversation with them and share what it is that you do. There's been quite a number of times where we've looked around other people's booths and go, "Oh, that's super cute. Oh, I would love that." We find out the price point and say, "Hey, do you go to theme parks? Do you want to do an even trade?" And so we've traded our game packs for one of their products. And so it's
That's a
it's
fun
kind of
perk.
a win-win. Yeah. So it all these different ways to connect with other people. And then two, if you have a good connection with one of the vendors, you can do a giveaway on your page with their product and interact with their audience as
So
well.
this is like the
Um,
collaboration you had mentioned
yeah,
earlier, collaborating with different businesses.
yeah. So
I love that.
different
That's
ways. Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's just evolved so much from selling the bow, like seeing the bows in the packages puts it into perspective. I'm like, oh my gosh, you did that. I had no idea and then the necklaces, that's how it
Mhm.
started. And now the kind of it's evolved and you've got your packs. And and what's really cool too is just for anyone watching as well. And if you're just tuning in, maybe you missed the beginning. It's really about marrying your passion with business. And that's what Amanda has done. She loved theme parks, loves Disney and all of that, and also loves scavenger hunts. And so she married the two into our business, which is Where in the Park with the theme park scavenger hunt game packs and all that. And it's so neat. And I know y'all have such a loyal following of people who just love Disney and all that. I mean, when I meet people that love Disney, it's a cult. It's a cult following, and y'all are some wild people. I mean, they're like all in. And that's what I've seen. Are you all in when you go to the parks, and are you wearing all the stuff and lightning
We
pass and all the stuff, or
No,
no?
no. We we wear something with our logo.
Oh, okay. You
Uh,
wear the logo, so that's smart too for your business.
yes, and so, like, I got my jacket on, I have this shirt on underneath, we have our ball caps with the logo, and we have our business cards on us, and it's so funny when the 3 of us are at the parks, we're all wearing the same thing, and so there are or similar things, but we get people all the time at the parks going, "Alright, what's going on?
What is
What
this?
what is this?" And so then it provides an opportunity to chat with them, give them a business card. They can follow us, whatever. And so that's been fun. But then also like it just happened last weekend. We were at SeaWorld in San Diego, and we were coming from a vendor event, and so we had our gear on, and a family came up to us and said, "Oh, do you work here? I need help. Like I can't find, you know." And so we're like, "Oh, because we said it says we're in the park." So like they're like, "Oh, you must work here
To
and like
find where
you
it
can
is
ask
in the
us for
park.
information." Yeah. So we're like, "Oh, no, we don't work here, but what can we help you with?" You
Yeah.
know? And so we were able to give them direction. So that was really fun.
That's
So,
so cool. I love it. And when you mentioned the three of us, share
yes.
about that, about how your business ownership works, like what that looks like. So I think it's interesting for people to hear. A lot of times everyone thinks that business owners are just solopreneurs or maybe have one partner. So tell us about your situation with your business.
Yeah. So my husband Kevin and I and my mom Kim, who's in the chat. Hi mom. Um we are team We're in the park, and it's just us three.
That's so awesome.
My husband Kevin, he designed everything. He has all of he has the background in the computer science and art degree. So he created all of the images, all of the cards, all of the packaging, um, literally everything that we have. And so he created all that. He created the website as well. Um, I'm part of your flagship program, so I'm like doing the business side of it.
Yes.
And So I also print out everything. So the covers, the cards,
Mm.
the backers, everything are on these four printers here in front of me. And then my mom is the third member of our team, and she helps in cutting everything because everything requires some
Oh
sort
my
of
gosh.
cutting.
Yeah.
Uh, and so we actually have a sheet here. So it starts off as a sheet of 9, and then we cut them individually to have the cards. So that is a labor of love right there. So
That is a
my mom
labor of
helps
love.
with that. And She holds down the fort when Kevin and I go to theme parks and make sure that all of our images are there. So she makes sure that orders still get out on time, and she's watching the rabbit and all of the things because, we have to make sure our images are still there. And if not, we need to update the game. So, which we have in our scan before playing card.
Yes. That's awesome.
So
And you
that was,
mentioned you have a pet rabbit. I just had to like
yes.
clarify that. You threw that word in there and people are like, what is she talking about? The rabbit? Is there a mascot to this? Like what is happening? No,
I
you
mean,
have
like informal mascot, I guess. Yeah. Yes, we have a pet rabbit, and then my mom also has a pet rabbit.
Oh my
So
gosh, y'all are just,
yes,
this is so interesting. I love it. Rabbits are so cute. I've never thought about having one as a pet, but you've inspired me. I'm like, they're so adorable and so cute. Are they low maintenance? Just, I know this isn't business talk, but I just am.
no, no, they're not low maintenance.
Okay.
They definitely, it's not a set it and forget it, and they live quite a long time. So
So
it's
you're in.
definitely
It's a
like,
commitment. It's a big
yeah, it's
commitment.
like
Like,
a
what is
10
quite
to
a long
12.
time for a rabbit? I'm just curious before we go
I
back.
think like they average around like 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. Yes,
yeah,
fascinating. Fascinating.
yeah. So
Well, I
we're
love that you shared like your team. Everybody takes kind of a role. Your husband is the computer person and does all that. Your mom helps with a lot of the logistics, and you do a lot of the business side too, which I thought would kind of segue into that's how you and I met, is that you had somehow found me probably through the She's Just Getting Started podcast. I'm guessing. Is that the first place? Okay. And then you had joined into Grow Getters, and it's been so awesome watching your progress. And I just would love for you to share with other people who are at the point where maybe they're about to open their business, or maybe they've been open and you're like, how do I actually like keep sales coming in? Because so many suffer from like random sales syndrome, I call it, where you're just like getting a sale here and there and you're like, how do I keep this flowing in so I can have a successful business? And I'd love for you just to share like what has been taught in Grow Getters, how that has helped you and helped along your journey, in case anyone's here who's been interested in working with me or joining the program, how that might help them.
Oh, yes. So I have listened to every single episode of Kimberly's podcast. All 200 and what, 56? I think we're on now,
Something
57.
like that. You know better than I
Um,
do, it sounds like.
so, listen to the podcast, number
Yes.
one. because that is a wealth of knowledge and inspiration and mindset shifts,
Thank you.
hands down. So, um, I love Thursdays because I know that's when a new episode's coming out. So, yeah, so listen to the podcast. Number 2, join her Facebook group. Okay, there is such a wonderful community in the Facebook group of women who are starting businesses just like you, and they want to support you and cheer you on and give you feedback, and you can ask those questions, and $10 says that 15 other women are going to be like, thank you, I was thinking the same thing. Or
Yeah.
there's people who have gone before you who be like, ah, totally relate, here's what I did and it worked, or whatever you need. And then in joining Grow Getters, um it was one of those things of, you had already taught me so much in the podcast and in the Facebook group, and so when you had the opening for Grow Getters, I was like, okay, if she's already taught me this much, what more can I get, with the program? And I'm so glad that I did, because we talk all the time about the move method, and MOVVE, and it is everything. It's absolutely everything. That is the big strategy. And it's messaging, offer, visibility, invitation,
Mm-hmm.
and evaluating results. And every single day we are evaluating results. It is a cycle. It is a cycle. And so in the program, we dive into each one of those things, um, messaging, offer, visibility, invitations, and evaluating results. We talk about those separately, but then when you put it all together and get into the habit of evaluating your results with everything that you do, is okay, how did that sit with me? Is that in alignment with me? Is this authentically me? Yes, cool, we're going to do more of that. Is it profitable? No. Okay, what do I need to change? Is it my messaging? Is it tweaking the offer like we did many times?
Yeah.
Is it enhancing the how we're showing up, and being more comfortable and confident in how we're showing up because of the messaging that we use? So all of these things work in tandem with each other, but it's knowing the tips and tricks, and brainstorming ideas and having that collaboration of women who can just inspire you and hold you accountable. And we have our monthly sessions, and our monthly group sessions, and it's just amazing. Like, I feel like I've grown with the other women that are in the group, and to see this new wave of women coming in the group too, and being able to help them in their journey by, I'm that person who's like gone
Right.
before,
Right.
which is just crazy to me that we literally are just getting started.
Yeah.
And and I feel like I've grown so much through the Grow Getters program, and through all of your help, and support, and
Yes.
guidance, and it's been everything. I,
Mm.
I do not know where we would be. We would probably still be making bows, honestly, trying to figure out,
So
like, what are we
sweet.
doing wrong? What's going on?
But I have to give
Um,
credit to you too, because it's true that you actually do the work. And I think that goes for anyone
mhm,
listening, whatever program you get in, whether you get in mine or anyone else's, you get out of it what you put into it. And so Amanda, from day one, her personality has just been like, she's going to do the work, she's going to review everything, organize everything, and do it. And I think that's what's made you successful as well. You found a proven method by someone, me, but again, it could have been anyone, but it was my proven method that's helped me for the past 25 years, and my coaching clients that I'd had previous to the program. And you stuck with it. You said, "Oh, I know this has been proven and I'm going to be working on it." And every day we're working on it. It's never oh yeah, I've instilled this method and now I just sit back and I have a laptop life and I never have to do anything. That could not be farther from the truth. You're constantly tweaking, refining, and doing things in your business. And that's what I've observed from Amanda. And so if this is you today and you're sitting there going, I don't really have a strategy. I don't really know what I'm doing. I need to get sales and like, how do I do this? Then you have to take that step to commit to yourself and your business that I'm going to do this intentionally and I'm actually going to give the effort. I'm going to put in the work. And that's what Amanda has done. And that is what has made her successful over these 3 years. I can't believe it either that now you're more the veteran in the group versus the newer people that are coming in that are just starting their business and trying to get off the ground and all that. And it's so encouraging because you're so wise and you've had all these iterations. You've had the ups and the downs. We've all had our moments in our business. It never goes perfect. It never is like sunshine and rainbows every day. There's stuff that's happening. There's market changes. There's product changes. There's all the things. There's disruptions in production or whatever, technical difficulties. We've all had that. We've all had it. And then there's customer service issues where you send somebody the wrong thing. And I mean, USPS isn't delivering on time. Or, we've had a million things go on, but sticking to it and really following that true calling that you have in your soul for something greater. Because I know all of you do, you wouldn't be here. You have felt like there's something more that you have to offer the world, whether you have a full-time job that you love now or not. It doesn't have to be because you hate your career. But there is a point where you can grow it if you take it seriously and you can grow it where it can be your part-time or full-time income as it was for me over the years. So Amanda, you're just so kind and you're such a leader in our group and you're so wise. You've done so many things in our business. You encourage so many people. And that's why I wanted to have you on today because I wanted to share you with everybody, but for others to see too, that when you put in the work, you take your business seriously, you treat it like a business and not a hobby, even though it may have sprouted out of some kind of hobby or passion, that this can happen for you and you can be doing this. And I'm just so happy for you, Amanda, and congratulations to you and your whole team, your husband and your mom. I think it's so cool that y'all work together and I just love what's happening. I can't wait to see the future of Where in the Park. Like what, I mean, you have the QR codes now. Like, I feel like, is this going to be like AI scavenger hunt? Are we going to be like holograms? I don't know. I don't know what's going to holograms
I
at
don't
the
know.
park. I don't know.
That'll be a really big pivot when that happens, for sure. I don't know how I feel about AI.
And be like, okay, perseverance.
Yeah.
I need to go. That
So
could totally
true.
happen. That could totally happen. Well, anyways, well, thank you. Is there anything else before we go? I don't know if anyone has any questions. I know we've got a little bit of a delay here on the chat. I think YouTube has like a 15-second delay, which is super annoying when we're recording when we're live like this. But if anyone has any questions, you can post them there. You can go to KimberlyBrock.com, and Amanda had mentioned about the free Facebook group. I have a free Facebook group called Women Starting Businesses Doing What We Love or What You Love. And Amanda is in there. I'm in there. You can ask a question. Like if you're late to this or you're watching it on the replay, you can get in that group. And then any questions that you have about business or maybe about Amanda's business, how she did something with her product business, you can post it in there. The questions are not silly. They're not dumb. Everyone has these questions. So post it in the group. And then if you are the type of person that's like, yeah, I need to take my business seriously and I need to take it from just starting to actually getting sales, make sure you check out growgetters.com. Actually, it's grow-getters.com. You can go there. But again, everything's on my website, KimberlyBrock.com. You can find out more. You can get all the free goodies. I have free downloads, free podcasts, free Facebook group, and you can join us in Grow Getters if you're really serious about your business. So that is it. Amanda, is there anything else that you want to share with everyone before we go today? This has been so much fun. I've loved chatting with you.
Oh, thank you. No, just always check in with yourself. We talk about evaluating results. Always evaluate how you feel about things. And if something is not sitting right with you, then check in. What is it? How can I tweak this? And post it to the Facebook group, like she said. Because again, you are not alone in this. You are never alone in this journey. And having that collaboration and just support is truly everything. So don't be afraid to pivot. Pivot is not failure. That is my biggest tip of the day.
I love
And
it.
yeah, yeah, you got this.
Yeah,
Your
you got
business,
it. That's right.
people are waiting for you right now, is what Kimberly has always said, and that has always stuck with me. When I'm feeling stuck or anything, people are waiting to buy from you right now.
Yep.
But you need to actually say, "Hey, this is what I have," before people can come in. You can't just sit back
You can't
and
just
just
sit back.
wait for people.
No,
Nope.
I love that. It's so true. There are people waiting on all of you right now, and it's up to you to get it together, get your business going, and get it growing. Put yourself out there, and I just love that. Those are great tips today, Amanda. Thank you so much, and hope to see you again soon. We'll have to catch up later again and regroup and see how things have progressed again. See if we have the AI hologram where in the park, what I don't even know where this is going to go, but I'm just so excited about it. And I'm so excited for your business. So that's it. Thank you all for being here, and everyone have a wonderful day. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.